Welcome back to Coffee Time. Get you another cup of coffee. Enjoy the rest of the program day. Walker Extension System on Thursday mornings. Mr. Danny Kane. How you doing, sir?
I am doing well, man. It is
good
great
to see you here this morning.
It's good to be here.
Had a little bit come through last night. I hope that weather straightens up a little bit.
We need to get that
get out of
weather
here.
on out of here. So
you got some events coming up?
We do. Got a couple things we're still working on registration for right now, and mentioned for those of you on the 4-H side that are interested in our Chick Chain program. We've talked about it many times on the air.
Yes.
We'll go into a lot of detail. We still got some slots open for this year's Chick Chain project.
Good.
And so that will be, we're doing registration for Chick Chain until the end of March. So you've got just a little while to get in on that. We're about halfway full or so with our slots this year, and so we've still got a few open. And
don't forget those homeschoolers. You can get involved in this.
Oh, absolutely. Whether you're in school 4-H clubs or special interest clubs or homeschool groups, everybody can participate in our 4-H program. So if you're interested in that, what it basically involves real quickly, each of our 4-H families, I always say families because this is a family project.
It is a family project.
Will receive 12 pullets. Those are female chickens prior to them laying eggs as a pullet. They'll receive 4 each of 3 different breeds. And our chicks usually arrive in about the second week of May, and they will brood those out, move them to the coop, raise them on out, and all the way through summer into fall. And this October, then we will be doing our Chick Chain show and auction where they can actually have their birds judged, and we give out awards and cash prizes. And
wow.
It's a really great little project. And but if you're interested in participating in Chick Chain, this will be probably our 9th or 10th year, I forget.
It's a good project.
Exactly.
How
We've
many
been doing
get?
it for a while.
8, 10?
Yeah, they get 12.
12, okay.
12, yep, 12 each, or I'm sorry, they get 4 each of 3 different breeds.
3 different breeds.
Yep.
12 chicks.
12 total.
And they're about 3 days old when you get them.
3 to 4 days old, give or take. They actually come through the U.S. Post Office, which is
you
kind of
tell me that
amazing.
every time, and I can't conceive all them chickens down to the post office.
I'll have to take you down there on pickup day when they arrive this May, and you can see the thing in action. That you can tell it's Chick Chain Day, but when you pull in the parking lot.
I hear you.
And but they work with us real well down there. Appreciate the folks there at the post office for helping us out, and they're always really gracious with us. And so anyway, that's up and coming. We've got a forest. We're calling it a forest health workshop. That's going to be coming up on March the 24th, day after my birthday, by the way. And so we'll be over at the Bevel State Community College campus there in the Harold Wade Math and Science building. They're in the auditorium, and we're going to cover a lot of aspects about improving your forest stand, everything from invasive species and how to control those, and many other topics as well that deal directly with forest health. Now these are, it's actually designed for or geared towards our private non-industrial forest landowners who are interested in improving their forest properties. But also it has been approved, this meeting's been approved for PLM hours, which stands for Professional Logger Management. So if you're a PLM logger, if you're a logger out there, you understand what I'm saying, and they have to have so many hours of CEUs each year to maintain their certification. So we just qualified for those CFEs for our registered foresters. So we're looking for a good crowd there. A good. I've seen the schedule. It's a good program, and to register for that, you can register online, or if you'll give us a call at the Extension office, we can help you with the registration. There is a $20 fee for that particular class. It does include your lunch, so you get lunch and you get the CFEs. You get a lot of great information.
Plus you get your credits for the state.
That's exactly right. Both PLMs as well as CFEs for the registered foresters. and a good meeting besides. So, so if you're interested, give us a call. We can answer more questions about it. Give you we've got the full agenda scheduled there at the office. We can talk with you about that or help you with the registration process. So,
All right, I got lots of stuff. I call them stuff. Insects swarming my house.
You apparently are not by yourself. This is a big club.
This time of year, I got some bees.
Everything is on the move this year, this time of the year. And actually started kind of a little early this year. We had a little bit of an early warm up this spring. So things are active and moving and things, and the phone's been ringing off the hook. We're glad to hear that. We're glad that that's happening. And but thought we'd talk about just a few of them, things that we're getting phone calls on. But the one that I wanted to start off with is perhaps that this time of the year, not the one we're getting the most calls about, but we will here very soon. And I think it's very important, and that is ants versus termites.
Okay.
So the way that usually happens, and the way I get the call, a homeowner or whatever will get up one morning, go to the kitchen to fix breakfast or whatever, and all of a sudden there in the kitchen window is a massive swarm of these.
Looks
insects.
like 1,000.
Yes, yeah, and they can be in they can be in very alarming numbers actually, and so it's justifiably there is some concern. Anything that has the potential to damage your house or whatever, then your house is the biggest single investment that most of us will make in our lifetime, and so when something happens that may be detrimental to that, we need to pay some attention to it. This is one of those kind of good news, bad news stories, and it's not always disaster or the end of the world. And so let's talk about just a little. People always bring samples in. Let me take a look at them, and I'm glad to do that to tell whether they're ants or actually termites, because they look very similar just to look at them. But you can easily tell the difference between the two. And so there's three places that we look on these immature insects, okay, to tell the difference. Number one is you look at the antenna, okay, and of course the antenna are the appendages up on the head. It's a sensory organ for most of our insects. On the termites, they will have straight antenna. They come out in a straight line out of the forehead, okay. If it's in the ant or related to the ants, it's going to have what I call the goalpost antenna. In other words, they're going to be elbowed. Okay, so bent, elbowed antenna is always a good thing.
All right, let me get this right. A straight antenna, straight up,
straight
straight line.
That's right.
That is a termite.
Okay.
And then the goalpost looking antenna
is going to be your ants. Right. That's right.
Okay.
Okay. So another place that you look is the waist. Believe it or not, that's actually, if you brought a sample into the office, that's one of the first things I'm going to look at is its waist. Now, a termite is going to have and I always tell people this and they kind of laugh, I say, but a termite is going to have a waist like mine. It's going to be broad, okay? Ants and ants are very closely related in taxonomy to our wasp and things like that. So our ants are going to have a pinched waist, okay, very narrow waist, okay? The other place that we can look that's not quite as obvious but can help is the wings. Termites tend to have two sets of wings that are equal in length. The ants have two sets that are in different lengths. Okay, but the most obvious thing is the antenna and the waist, and that will help you a long way. Now, all that to say, if we find these swarming insects there, the best case scenario is that they're going to be ants. They're going to be easily treated, not even really necessary perhaps, except for the inconvenience, but they can be easily treated with with an insecticide. Most of the time it's going to be carpenter ants or the ones that we see this time of the year. So a little bit later on we'll actually maybe even see fire ants that do that. But okay, if it's termites, now termites is a different story. Termites for us homeowners just tends to cause a lot of anxiety, okay? but it is not out of the realm of possibility. It's not even unusual to see a massive swarm of termites, and we know for a fact they're termites because we've either got them identified or we know what to look for. To see a massive number of them on a windowsill or around the house or something one day, next day they're gone, okay, and we never see them again. That's not unusual, okay, so that can happen. But what you do need to do, though, because of the potential for damage to your house, if you confirm that you have termites, or if you even suspect that they are insects, or termites, get in touch with your termite control company. Let them be sure, and they will come out. They will evaluate whether they are or are not termites, and they can do then a further inspection to assess any potential damage or need for treatment. Okay. Also, along those same lines, now is a good time of the year to get that termite bond out that you know, and people are a little bit understanding of how a termite bond works. The termite bond that you would have with a pest control company is basically like it doesn't mean that we're going to come and spray for termites every year. It's basically like an insurance policy. Okay, so you need to pull that out. Make sure that you understand what is in there, because some of these policies are still being, or some of these bonds are still out there that simply says if we find termites out there, we'll come and spray them and we're done. Okay. Some bonds are written because they are damage replacement policies. Okay. So if the termites actually cause damage within a house, then that gets replaced along with the treatment.
So one of the bonds possibly are out there. They just spray for termites.
That's right, on site, and they don't do that regularly.
Replace any wood damage.
That's right.
Okay.
But most of the newer, more reputable type termite bonds do include a damage replacement part of the policy. But you just need to make sure. Yeah, and you need to just sit down with your PPO, your pest control operator, and make sure that that is indeed the case. Okay. So that's some can help to alleviate some of that anxiety and stress a little bit, or whatever. You see those things, and I've seen them swarm on my windowsills almost every year, it seems like. And then fortunately they're usually ants, and so no real big problem, but something to be mindful for, to take a look at. One thing, or a couple of other things, that we are getting big numbers of calls in right now, because apparently these things are, and you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I tell you where this is going. Getting a lot of ladybug calls.
Oh, okay. Yes. My goodness.
Ladybugs, the ones that we get calls on, what they actually do is they overwinter within your walls, okay, with crawl spaces, the area between the dwelling part of your house and the attic. And the reason for that is they are instinctually attracted. They overwinter in cavities. In their natural habitat, they overwinter in rock crevices and cliffs and places like that. Now, the ones that we have to kind of differentiate a little bit here, because the ones that we're getting the calls on, the ones you're seeing in huge numbers, are actually not our native ladybugs. They are Asian ladybugs. They came from the Orient, places, China and Japan and places like that in the Orient, Asian. Okay. There's a lot of differences. Number one, the Asian ladybugs actually have the ability to bite. They can bite. And I've had different people to tell me that, I got bit by these ladybugs, and when we first started seeing these in large numbers, it was kind of caught us off guard a little bit. But yeah, they can bite. Our native ladybugs are not biters. Okay. Now, visually, the Asian ladybugs can carry any of a number of color patterns, from an almost solid color pattern to multi-spots and things. And so they can look either very different or very similar to our native ladybugs. But if you look at the back of the head, and this is the way that I usually tell on a quick diagnostic, if you look at from the top side looking down at its head, you will see kind of if you use your imagination a little bit, an upside down M, okay, pattern on the back in white. Now, and now if you turn that around, if you're looking at the other way, it's going to look like a W, right? Okay, but it's going to have that pattern to it, whereas our native ladybugs don't have that pattern. It's generally a more solid kind of black color in that particular area, and that's one of the ways that we tell. Our native ladybugs also are going to overwinter somewhere out of doors, okay? And we don't usually see them in really large numbers inside. So if you got large numbers that you're seeing in your window sills, light fixtures, I've seen on the ceilings.
Yes.
Okay, those are probably going to be your Asian ladybugs, the ones that were introduced here. Now, what do you do? And here's what I tell people. Now, inside the house, I don't recommend spraying. Okay. For a number of reasons, and more than anything else, it's just not really required, because what they're doing is they're kind of waking up, so to speak. They're getting active. They are moving outdoors. Okay, so in a good case in point, I had a massive swarm of these out in a storage building that I have at my house, and there was probably gathered on the back window of that storage building by the thousands. I mean, literally. And so instead of spraying, because once you spray in there and you kill that number of insects off, you can have odor problems, you can have staining problems, especially if you kill them inside of a wall or something. So what I did is I simply just opened up the window, left that a couple of days, and they have moved on out just like what they're supposed to do. Okay. So now outside, if a treatment is required outside, just for nuisance or whatever the reason, there's any of a number of insecticides that you can, permethrins or bifenthrin or any of those. But anyway, a lot of people confuse the native ones and the introduced ones. So the ones that were really giving us a problem are these Asian ladybugs. Now, a different insect, but very same story is our stink bugs, and I've probably gotten a dozen phone calls on stink bugs just in the last 2 or 3 days. So apparently they are active and moving. Now there's a lot of different species of stink bug as well. The one that we're seeing in houses is called brown marmorated stink bug. Okay, it's very distinctive. And it does the same thing as these Asian ladybugs. It is actually overwintered. I don't know if this makes you uncomfortable or not. It is actually overwintered inside your house, either inside a wall or a crawl space or something like that. Once again, they are moving from inside to outside in response to the warmer weather. They'll do the same thing in reverse this fall. When we start to get cold weather, they'll move from outside to inside. So we generally see them in those 2 time frames. Early spring, early fall. Okay. Now outside again, those same products. If you need a control measure, those would work. A permethrin or bifenthrin, any of those type things. But again, those products are not made first off to apply inside your house, and it's not necessary. A lot of times you can actually do more harm than good by trying to treat inside of a house. So any question on the stink bugs or ladybugs, you can give us a call. The other thing we're starting to see, saw my first few here just this week, is our carpenter bees.
Yeah, they're coming.
And so a carpenter bee looks very similar to, it's actually it's larger than our native bumblebees. It's slick-bodied on the abdomen, and quite a bit larger, like I said, than our native bumblebees. But the ones we first start to see about this time of year are the males. Those are going to be, they have white mandibles. When we were kids, we used to call them white-faced bumblebees, for lack of a better term, which is what they looked like. So, and then a little bit later on, the females will follow, only they don't have white mandibles. They'll be solid black up front. It's very important to know the difference, okay? Because the males, the one with the white mandibles, the white-faced bumblebee, if you want to call it that, but the carpenter bee males don't have a stinger. Okay, they cannot sting. Now they'll buzz around and they're very defensive, but they don't have a stinger. The females have a stinger that can be actually up to about 1/4 of an inch long, and a very painful sting. But they're not aggressive. They're not one of these swarming type, like hornets and yellow jackets, things like that. So what do we need to do? First off, they is realize that they actually do help us with pollination a little bit in absence of our honeybees and other such things. But if they're in a place that's causing you damage, they drill those nice little perfectly round holes in the fascia wood of your decks and buildings and things. So if you have to, you can apply an insecticide, and there are many labeled for control of them. But once you do that, you must, to keep control, you have to plug or fill the holes in.
Sure do.
Either steel wool works really well, or wood dowel. Mm-hmm. Then once you do that, you can putty over the top of it and either paint or stain or whatever, But if you're not going to fill the holes, the next round a little bit later on, we'll just simply move right into those holes.
You got all this info.
We got information on every single one of those wonderful topics: ants and termites and ladybugs and stink bugs, carpenter bees, and a lot more too. So you can give us a call at the extension office at 205-221-3392, or you can reach us on that big old World Wide Web at www.aces, that's ACES.edu.
Danny, thanks a bunch.
Appreciate you having us. Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more Coffee Time.